Welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val, the place to laugh, sip on a little wine, and have open and honest conversation. Here you will find the tools to resolve real life issues. Unwind, pour up a glass, and get ready to exhale. Well, welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val. Today we have a special treat for you today. The show will be the definition of extra. Okay, everybody says that I'm extra. Let me see, my family says I'm extra, but I have a wonderful guest sitting next to me. Her name is Brooke. How do you say the last name?
Conaway.
Yeah. Conaway. She is the definition of extra. She came walking into my podcast studio today in her vibrant pink, from the pink hair to the pink dress that just kind of went with the brand. Yes, she is truly the definition of extra. Brooke, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, God, thank you for coming.
And, just like Chipotle Guac, I am extra. And we all know, especially my friends and family, but for me, it's a compliment.
Yes.
For sure. And so what I do for work right now, I'm actually an event and designer, wedding designer. I also manage Ulta in San Marcos. So being in the beauty industry, we have a lot of, personality and extra qualities that we like to bring to the beauty community.
Well, it makes me wonder. I've never been in the beauty, even though. I've never been in the beauty community. But I do think that the extra had to come from somewhere because I used to dress up in my mom's clothes. I used to try to put makeup on. And then one day, going in Ulta all the time. Actually, it was Sephora.
That's okay. We love Sephora too. I'm not a hater.
Sephora, they actually taught me. I would actually go in there so frequently. This is before COVID, and they taught me how to apply my makeup. I love that. And it was just so nice. So I didn't get that over at all.
Well, you know what? You are invited to come to my Ulta anytime. I will treat you like the queen you are, and we will give you the full service. Okay.
Yeah, well, we're getting ready to get down with this conversation over here. But before I go, you said that you do weddings and events.
I sure do. Yeah, I have a getaway car, a '56 Chevy Bel Air.
Oh my God.
I know. Like I said, you're extra.
Oh God. Oh God. Well, you guys are in for a treat. As you can see, the definition of extra is getting ready to unfold. The definition of extra is when you hear that, what do you think about?
So for me, I think of it as a positive because I love people embracing who they are. I really do think that, people do use the word sometimes in a negative way. But I have a theory that I feel like if you are coming from a place of your higher self, your happiness, your inner self, there's no way there could be a negative attached to that.
Well, I think that people that attach it and use it as a negative is how they see themselves.
Yes.
Because the definition of extra is not someone trying to be extra. They're just being who they are. And so what people have done is slapped a tag on it and want to make it seem negative because of where they are in their life at that particular time.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I really do. And I see it a lot. But, coming from, here in Houston, you have such a huge different community full of so many wonderful people, but especially being a young person in a big city, you try so hard to fit in, and you really, hide or internalize those things that sometimes make you special to fit in with a certain group or to fit in with, just the community, the smaller community, with a high school,
Right.
And I just feel like, once you've got to that point where you're able to really realize who you are and what makes you tick, and it becomes like breathing.
Well, I think and I'm glad you said it's like breathing. Once you're really okay with yourself, then you can breathe. As long as you're walking around trying to be something that you're not, and you're dumbing yourself down to make someone else feel good, or you're holding back because you don't know how someone's going to take you.
Exactly.
All you're really doing, you're not living.
Exactly.
You're just existing.
Right.
And when you truly turn in and let go and just be your authentic, the definition of extra, you'll be okay. Well, I want to dive into this conversation here. And of course, I throw a few questions out just for us to have a conversation.
I love it.
It's not just to get into a question and answer.
Well, I can talk for hours.
Okay,
so
okay.
You're going to have to cut me off.
No, okay. You asked this question. You are such a positive person with tons of energy. Where does that come from? And you are.
Well, thank you. I really just have such a love for life. And, I've learned in my journey that the light that we bring to in everything we do. I'm with work, with waking up in the morning, with, just new interactions with new people, like bringing a light and bringing joy just raises the energy of the room. It brings people together. And once I started to realize what my uniqueness and what my weirdness, some people would say, how when I embrace it, I realized how it created an environment where people could really open up a little bit with themselves, and I love people so much. So getting to see those cracks of like a smile or those cracks of just like being silly and goofy. I mean, to me, that just gives me such a joy.
I think people being okay with who they are.
Yeah.
It's like you have a natural gift of wanting to give joy and a smile and sunshine to someone else that you, like when I walked in here. I mean, she's already sitting in the studio, sitting in the chair. When I walked in, it's like the room lit up.
Oh.
And it's like to me, and literally it lit up, and it lit up with your smile.
Oh, well, now you're going to make me cry.
No, literally, because not everybody possess that gift and have that positive energy. So I knew that this was going to be a great conversation that I can just share with my listeners here.
Well, I'm just so grateful to be here and to meet you because I've been now introduced to your podcast. I've been getting to listen, and I've just loved the messages that you have been putting out into the world as well. I just feel like that just makes such an impact. And however big or small that we do that, I just really feel like the ripples of those actions really just go such a long way.
You don't even realize what you're saying. I was literally in there earlier today because they've been hitting me. This is how they get me. When I'm in town, when I'm working, they just, they don't even tell me half of my schedule. They just, time to go, come over here. But I was in there feeling like, I'm a little tired. And I actually came in this morning because I agreed to something. I don't know how I agreed to something at 8:30 in the morning. And then I get this text message, okay, I need you here by 8:15. I'm like, oh, God. But anyway, I got in here and I was just kind of laying across on my sofa. I initially thought I was going to lay. And I was feeling like I'm just tired. And the Holy Spirit said to me, you have to keep going on because what you're doing is not about you. It's about someone else. So hearing you say that is truly the reason that I do this. I think it's so much negative out there that people are spewing out. I really want to be a light. I want to give something positive, and that's what you're helping me to do today.
I love that so much. I mean, even with my job being in an event planning or even being at Ulta in a customer service retail, we all know retail can get a little hairy, a little crazy sometimes. But one of my favorite challenges is when I have a guest who is unhappy or a bride who's unhappy with something, being able to bring them to a place of happiness and understanding, or at least just leaving in a better place than when they came in. Because just like what I tell the rest of my staff, I say, listen, guys, we don't know what that person is experiencing outside of this door. So bringing that light, bringing that joy, being yourself, that allows people to take down the wall and really open up.
A lot of times people don't, we love to just be centered on what we're going through. And we don't take the time for the next person. The fact that you just recognize, yes, a person may be coming in and just buying makeup, but what is that all about? It's something going on with that, or it could be something going on with that individual, and your interaction with them can change their day for a very turn it around positive, or it can turn it real negative.
Exactly. And when I hear someone use the word extra in a negative way, I always like to dig in a little bit and be like, oh, well, you know, why do you feel that way? Or, you know, how have you, you know, got to this point in your life where you're, you know, you want to be this definition of whatever it is. And I'm just so interested in, and, you know, sometimes even having these small conversations kind of gets people thinking.
Yes.
And, you know, of course, I want to make everyone laugh. That's just my MO.
I know. When she showed me that you were dressed up in this banana, we got to get there. So when Abigail showed me this thing that you were dressed up in this banana suit, and I was like, I love it. That's, I mean, literally, you really are not worrying about how other people view you. I mean, and then y'all have a whole group of y'all.
We do. So I like to say when I'm in my banana costume, I am Beyonce Banana because everyone wants to know me.
Did you hear her? She's Beyonce Banana.
I am. I mean, I'm from Houston, remember? Okay. So when I'm out there, we do our banana bar crawls for mine and my husband's birthdays because we're only a few days apart. And it just gets people out of their comfort zone. It gets people in that mindset to be a little silly, to be a little goofy,
enjoy,
laugh at yourself, and you know,
stop taking yourself so serious.
Exactly. And the first timers that come, because we've been doing this for 8 years now, we really have, and I'm sure there's a whole Instagram out there dedicated to these weird bananas that come out in Austin every year. But you know, when we're out there and we're in a group as the bananas, you know, people approach us, they want to know what we're doing, they want to come, they want to be invited, they see how much fun we're having. And you know, it's the first timers that come to the bananas, usually they'll come with their banana like tucked in their corner, like nobody can see it, you know. And then they get there and they see everyone, you know, wearing these bananas, and they're like, okay, I'll put it on. And then the next hour, they're the first ones on the table dancing in the banana costume.
We have to. I don't know. When we get to edit this, we got to put a picture of her in the banana suit because I think that just really speaks to who your personality is and what you have to put out in the energy here, out in the world. And I think I love that. I love that. How do you keep negative people and negative energy away from you?
Well, you know, this was something that was really learned for me because I felt like, again, just as a young person, you know, I hung out with so many different people. I was one of those people that just, I wanted to be friends with everybody. And, you know, sports, art, you know, wherever, out parties, everything I wanted to be. And so, you know, I realized that a lot of the energies that other people were bringing were really affecting me. And especially I do now recognize that I definitely am sort of an empath where I take on those emotions. And that was really hard for me because it would put me in these places that I just couldn't be myself, that I was, you know, brought to a place that just, it wasn't me. And so finally understanding that and learning that, you know, maybe not being friends or at least like moving into a different space, you know, was really benefiting me. So as I'm seeing the benefits, I'm now recognizing, okay, it's not me.
It's not you.
It's others, the energy. And so finding my tribe, finding my people, you know, I probably will cry because I have one of the best friend groups in the whole world. My husband is also one of the most supportive and loving.
Yes.
And I mean, any man that'll dress up like a banana with you. And it's among other things. You know, I'm just so fortunate to have such a great support system who love me for me and who have really helped me with that confidence to be me.
Well, you know, I think a lot of times too, you don't realize it. You can become a garbage can for people in their negativity.
For sure.
I can tell you, I used to be a person that always wanted to be there to help other people, to hear you can cry on my shoulders. I'm here, let me hear it. And I had to literally get to a place that I said, stop. Because it was dragging me down so much. And I had to learn how to still do it, but do it in a way that it's separating, not so much separating myself out of the emotion, but not taking it on to want to fix it.
Right.
You know, and because you literally become the garbage can.
I 100% relate with that.
You know what I'm saying?
100%. Oh. And, you know, in the end of the day, what really helped me is just understanding that people are going to be human. They're going to make decisions. You're not going to agree with everything. But, you know, really setting those boundaries. And
that's it.
That's been huge in my life. And I have a very big family, a very wonderful family. And I'm one of the oldest cousins. So, you know, I was one of the guinea pigs going through high school and life and everything. And, you know, it's just, there is so much to be learned. And I've just been, you know, I just love my family because they really do support me in my silly, goofy ways. But
is it silly, goofy, or is it just, see, I like to say that it's just you.
Yeah.
And when I think about that, I don't think it's anything just from what I'm seeing now. I don't think it's an act. I think it's actually who God created you to be.
Aww.
And so I don't see you coming in here and just being this extra pink person. I see you as this is who you are.
And I do feel that way. And I think, again, that's one of those things that you still have to be confident in the way that you present yourself or how you describe yourself.
Right.
And we're always going to be our toughest critics at times. And I do realize that, especially, again, being in the beauty industry.
Well, we have to stop.
Yeah.
Because I think what we do, or what I used to do, I don't know about you, I used to give people permission to see me in a negative way because I was one of the first ones that felt like I needed to go and dumb myself down so I wouldn't make anyone else feel bad. Right. So I don't give you permission to treat me any kind of way because I know I'm beautiful inside and out.
Yes.
And if you can't deal with my extra, that's on you.
Right.
That's on you. You know, we just have to really, especially as women, we really have to get to a place that we're okay with us. And we're okay telling another woman, you're beautiful.
Yes.
You know, I love you. I wish I was bold enough to wear my hair hot pink. That's just not me.
Oh, this is natural.
See, I love it. You get what I'm saying? I love it. But it works for you. And who am I to sit up and tell you, I can't believe you did that.
You
know what I'm saying? I love it.
Thank you. Natural. Now it did. I'll be honest. It did take probably some of my family members to come around on it. You know, especially my grandmothers. But
they struggle.
But but that's okay. You know, I think that they now understand that this is who I am. This is I want to be approachable, but fun. And, you know, I always that kind of joke. I'm like, I'm an approachable weirdo. You know, people can come up and ask directions from the street. But, you know, I just think that, you know, having the pink hair, especially in the industries that I'm in, you know, people are sometimes a little bit like, whoa. But then they get to know me and they realize, okay, she just wants to put a smile.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
When I see someone with something different, I don't take that as a negative. I take it as, wow, that person is really a unique, special person. I want to get to know them. Because, and if it's no more than for a quick conversation, because to me, that shows strength.
Oh.
It does. That shows to me, it shows a person that is okay.
Yes.
You don't have to like me. I'm okay with me.
Yes. I love that
I'm okay
so
with me.
Much.
Yeah.
I'm writing all this down.
Oh, God. Tell me about your career and your business and how does your extra personality motivate you in that?
Okay, so I feel like I've lived so many lives because I've worked in a restaurant, I've done property management.
Oh, wow.
Ulta was my first retail experience and I'm still with them, so obviously I love it. And, you know, weddings, of course, I really got into because of planning my own wedding. And at the time, if you look back in pictures of me, I've got brown hair. I did do a little crazy makeup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little, but I still hadn't really stepped into my full true self in the way that I feel now. But, you know, having my fiance at the time, my husband now, you know, give me that, you know, that's support because, you know, I felt like, you know, as a young person again, you know, you're trying to find a boyfriend, trying to get, you know, and finally having that someone that just loves me. They're like, you could come out in a paper sack with purple hair or whatever. I don't care. I still love you so much. And so I think that it's just really getting to see truly the effects of me being an open person in my business, in my work self, how it's allowed others to open up and be themselves. It just helps with the wedding planning because I'm making sure that brides know, hey, you don't have to have a wedding that's ABC how everyone else does it. Add your own special flares, add what makes you you.
So you can really help them just really let go and get away from so much that's so traditional.
Yes.
And I think that if someone's coming to you, they should feel safe to say, you know what? She's going to have me thinking outside of the box. My wedding is going to be outside. My event is not going to be something that you just seen the other day.
Exactly.
That's excellent.
And I was, interested to see how like the perception would happen, being at these wedding fairs because you have so many different crowds.
When you decided to take your career in this direction, I know you're still at Alta. I know that you've done apartment, but then you decided to put something else on, a different spin. How did your family receive that initially?
Well, it's funny because again, going back to being the oldest in my family and then one of the oldest cousins, I did go to college and I wanted to be in art and paint and be, out there painting walls. I painted murals and I can see that. Yeah, I loved it. And then I got scared because, a lot of people around me were saying, you're not going to be able to get a job. You're not going to be able to have a career, and so I definitely changed my direction based on what other people were saying. And so, and I still don't regret anything because I know that it's got me to this place where I am. But I feel like, I definitely, in that time of my life, I did change direction based on other people. So once I had...
Was the other people your family?
Yeah.
Okay. See how... on the Candid Conversation, we keep it 100.
Yes.
So, and that's okay because... Even my family, we had family members and friends that said what I couldn't do.
Right.
So it's okay. And it's only because it's where they see themselves at. And it's not that they don't love you.
Right.
It's not that they don't care about you. But sometimes people's limited opinion of themselves is transferred on to you.
Right. And I know that, they did it with love and just best interest. But
they're like, get out of my pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to find a job that you don't have to come back and ask me for no extra
She's like,
money.
oh gosh, you're just going to be living under a bridge. They were like, please just do something.
And people usually like to say that about, I think artists.
Yes, they did, and that's where that came from.
And I think that's a known thing, or they think it's a known thing. If you go to school for art, you're not going to have a job. You're going to just be always trying to get there. Yes. But artists are so gifted. They're so fascinated. They have so many different, unique abilities.
They do. Yeah. It's so fun. So going back to that college moment when I ended up transferring out of those classes and I did graduate with an English and a business degree, but all my roommates were all still in the art program. So they would be at home working on their projects and I'm like, can I help? Yeah. And then I wouldn't do my work because I would be so excited about getting to work with them. And so, once I was because I was in the apartment industry during college, getting my way through, and I stayed with that even after school. But then I just had such a awful experience with a specific place, and I ended up staying there a lot longer than I should have, mostly because I loved the people who lived there and I loved certain coworkers and stuff, and I just really
I love her. So some of you guys she loved, and some of them, and you know who you are, she did. Look at the real team.
But
she didn't say it, I said
well,
it. Okay.
And I'm still wonderful
You're
friends.
so
So I say some people.
Remember the definition of extra. We're always so sweet to you, even when we tell you about yourself.
Exactly. Well, and that's why I love your show, because I do feel comfortable where I can be candid with you.
For sure.
And, and everyone in my life definitely knows the story because I've been down that road so many times. But after having that experience, I was just like, I can't do this.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I'm not doing this again. I want to do something that is creative and that feeds my soul, where I still feel like I am doing acts of service, which I love, but in a positive, creative way.
You know, you said it. When you're doing something that you enjoy, it is acts of service. And people don't get that. You think, I'm going to work. Well, it shouldn't be work. Wherever you're coming in, even if you're clocking in, you should be doing something you enjoy.
Yes.
And it should be, not only should be a blessing for you, a reward for you, it should be a reward for people around you that you come in contact with.
Exactly.
When it's a job, that's when your attitude, you understand your attitude is different. It's like, let me go ahead and get this clock in so I can get out of here.
Yes, exactly. And I just didn't want to live that existence. I really wanted to do things that fed my soul. And, again, being in the position I do, again, feel so blessed and fortunate because my husband really supported me in this. He was like, please go do whatever you have to do. Find the happiness in your job, whatever it is, make money off of it, but figure out what to do. And I had so much support. So I really was able to really dive in and try a few different things. And of course, planning my own wedding, I realized how much fun I was having. And I had hired my own wedding planner, and I actually just got off the phone with her right before this podcast, and I had told her what I was doing, and she's like, you are so perfect for that.
Yes.
And she was also just a huge inspiration to me because, weddings can be so stressful, and they can be even more stressful than I felt like my apartment job, but I was loving what I was doing. I knew that what I was doing was such an impact on those people's day, on their lives and their memories and their families, and I got to just really feel like
But I think it's because, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
I think it's because you are you have a gift of really wanting to make people happy.
Yes.
It's kind of like me liking to decorate. That's not how I pay my bills. Yeah. But I love things looking pretty. I love things in order. I love to dress. It's just certain things. So that's a natural thing. So you going in and doing your own or starting a wedding, and you wanted people to be happy and have the experience that you had.
Exactly. Yeah. And a judgment-free zone, too. Right. I just feel like with brides specifically or couples, again, it's just when you have a wedding, everyone in your life comes and has an opinion.
But they're not paying any money.
Even their cat. Everybody's got an opinion, and it can be very overwhelming, especially for a couple or a person that is not feeling very confident in themselves maybe at the moment, and so I am their best advocate.
So how do you handle that? I'm having an event. Okay. You're the person. You're my event planner, and everybody's wanting me to do things on their time schedule. You come to me and I say, look, I'm having I'm really needing you to keep people away. How do you handle that when things?
Well, of course, every situation is different. And, in my experience now, there's been some moments where that has come up. And I just really think being direct, but I'm always kind. I never I'm very much in the de-escalation, Right. I always want to keep it light and airy, but sometimes there are people that they're just lost in the moment. We have mother of the bride, or we have
But are they lost in the moment, or are they just trying to be controlling? See, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think a lot of times we give people passes on behaviors, and then we put it over on ourselves. They're not lost in the moment. They know that they didn't pay anything for this. Or maybe they did pay and they want it to be extra special for the individual, but they don't really want to fall back and trust the process and trust the people that are there to run it.
Right. So. And that is awesome that you said that too, because I find that really pulling those individuals aside and saying, hey, listen, the bride, the groom, we've got together, we have picked all of these vendors because we trust them. We know that they have the couple's best interest at heart. I have the couple's best interest at heart. I'm going to do everything I can to give them the wedding of their dreams, of their vision, And we have had to have some hard conversations. And for me, being who I am, I always love to keep the light and happy. But, sometimes you do have to kind of set those boundaries.
And it's not being rude. It's just being direct. It's just laying it out there. So let's take this into the extra into dating.
Oh.
Okay. So when you were dating, how long did you and your husband date before you got married?
3 years.
3 years.
We did.
Oh, okay. So you evolved into this extra person, or were you always this extra
I was always this extra.
Okay, thank you.
I just kept it a little bit more on the DL until, but...
Till you hooked him?
Yeah.
So, okay, because you didn't really want him to know just how... So you were a little conservative and controlled.
Well, I'll tell you. And I'm going to tell you, we met at... it's a Wurst Fest in New Braunfels. It is, the
Work Fest.
Wurst Fest, like a German beer festival.
Oh God! Okay.
So I'm sure you've heard of Oktoberfest in Munich. So we in our city we have our own Oktoberfest called Wurst Fest, and I was there with a bunch of friends. One friend in particular, we ran off to go get some food, and I was in my dirndl, which is a traditional German dress. Okay, because a girl always needs to be properly in costume for her event.
Okay, of course.
And flowers in my hair and everything, and I have this Hawk mug that opens up where you drink out of its beak.
Oh God!
So
I can see you. I can definitely see that.
Oh yeah. So I have to have a little special.
You have to be in the moment. You take every opportunity to be in the moment of whatever is going on.
Exactly. Okay. And it was like a movie because there's a room there called the Wurst Hall. It's huge. I mean, they have. I can't even tell you how many thousand, it's more than 1,000 people in there. And my husband didn't know he was going to be my husband, but him and his family, he had family in from Detroit, they were over at a table, and I walk in with my friend, I have my mug and I'm drinking out of it like this. God. And he's like, who is that? And so he approaches me and says, can I drink out of that? Pre-COVID, obviously.
Right.
And I said, only if you scream like an eagle. Because I thought it was an eagle. I know it's a hawk now. And he sure did. And I let him drink out of it. And then, we sat down. It was like everyone around us just stopped. And everything disappeared. We're talking, we're laughing, and we're definitely had a few beers. So we were having fun. And then he goes, oh, wait, my mom's here. Meet my mom.
Oh, my God.
Jeffrey?
On the first, really?
Yes. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. And so I am just cracking up. And I met his mom. And then I look over at my friend. Well, we had got food. By the time I look over, she had eaten her plate and my plate.
Because you were so engaged in this conversation. Wow.
And the best part is, my phone was dead, per usual. His phone was dead, per usual.
So no one could interrupt you guys at all.
Well, my friend had to take his number. And the next morning, of course, this is after Wurst Fest, guys. So we're having a rough morning. Mm-hmm. My friend comes over and she says, hey, I have that number for that guy you met. And I said, was he cute? I forgot.
Now that... So what did he look like? The beer was great, huh?
That's the real rom-com. What did he look like?
I love
did he have a hat on? I don't remember. But, we ended up going on our date. And, I mean, he was just the perfect gentleman. He's a little extra, too, okay? He came to the front door to pick me up. And instead of having flowers or candy or anything, he had a painting of flowers. And he said, this will last longer.
That was so sweet.
I know. I said, marry me now.
Oh, God. That was very thoughtful.
He's a very thoughtful person.
So he's a natural giver.
He is.
And he's intentional about what he gives.
Very intentional. I call him the philosopher because he thinks.
So he broke you all the way down.
He did. And I mean, I'm coming from a Texas State, a college, you know, and the rugby association that I hung out with, which I love them so much. But Jeff was just so different than anybody I had met, and and it was so funny because we had our first date, and then that man got on a plane and went to a wedding in Jamaica.
Oh my God!
And I said, well, that's it. I never gonna see him again. He's probably meeting his wife right now in Jamaica.
And then it never stopped.
And it never stopped when he got back. And so when we had our wedding, we planned a Wurst Fest themed wedding. So we got married in our church, a historic church down there. But then when we had our guests come to the reception, we had them all change into lederhosen and dirndls and hats and beer steins. So we really went full in.
Well, I didn't want to cut you off because just to hear you tell the story and hear so much glee and excitement. And then just when you speak of your husband, who was your friend, and how y'all met, I think a lot of times you were just being who you are. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's hurting so many. When I hear people say it's hard out here to date, you know, we can't meet I'm not meeting anybody. Well, because you're trying to be someone else.
Yes.
Just be who you are. Don't put on these masks, because eventually the mask is going to come down.
Yes.
And people are going to see, they're going to think that this is who you are.
Yes.
And they're going to be like, no, it's not what I want. So just be who you are. If I can give any advice to young ladies and older ladies that are out there dating or looking to date, just be yourself. You don't want to get in a relationship, and through the dating part of that relationship, you really had a mask on, and now you're getting down to a commitment side of it. And you're figuring out this is not who you want, and he's figuring it out, and you've wasted all of this time.
Absolutely.
So just be who you are.
So true. One of my very favorite quotes is from Maya Angelou, and it says, "If you try so hard being normal, you'll never know how amazing you can be."
Wow.
And that is so true, and I really do try.
Can you look into that camera right there?
Yes.
And say that again.
So one of my very favorite quotes from Maya Angelou is, "If you are trying so hard to be normal, you will never truly know how amazing you can be."
Yes.
And those are and it gives me chills when I hear those words, because I have lived that now. I've tried to fit myself in this normal box, and the minute that I was able to really free myself from that, I felt like I just became just me. Like it was like being reborn.
But
it was weird.
When
not
I
to
hear
be
people
dramatic.
talk about normal in who eyes?
Exactly.
Is it the person that is still unhealthy? Is it the person, I'm looking at it and saying, okay, normal. I'm normal based off of this person's standard who may be broken. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm
So
normal
true.
Based off of this man that may be a narcissist.
Right.
Or this woman that have been abused. And so that's normal for them.
Right.
Yeah, just be yourself.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And yeah, the dating world is so scary. I hear so many stories.
I couldn't even imagine.
So many stories I hear. But, you know, I just think that when you are your most authentic self,
you're going to draw.
Yes, it attracts. It brings the people that are supposed to be in your life, in whatever capacity that may be. But, you know, going out, finding yourself and trying new things, you know, really putting yourself out of your comfort a little bit even too sometimes.
Well, I think just, you know, the definition of extra again goes back to extra is not something negative.
Right.
Just be who you are, who you're natural. Figure out before you get in a relationship.
Yes.
Before you call yourself jumping into a relationship, you need to take some time and spend some time dating yourself.
Yes.
And figuring out what you want in a relationship, what you feel like you deserve in a relationship, and how you want to be treated. And that goes back to just, the only way you're going to know it is for you to spend some time with you.
Absolutely. I mean, again, being in the wedding industry, we see a lot of couples, and, you know, there are some couples that I just, oh my gosh, I'm like, y'all are absolutely soulmates. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, and of course this is an outside perspective, but, you know, when you have people who are maybe not in their true self yet, or not allowing themselves, you get a little worried for them.
And you can see that, you know, sometimes the person that is getting, or that's in it, sometimes doesn't see that this is not going to work.
Right.
You know, not that we would speak that on there, but you can naturally see it. They can't see it because, well, they think they're putting a mask up, fooling everybody else. Right. But they can't see it because they haven't really came into who they are.
Right.
They just want to be in a relationship.
Exactly.
And do you find that people are more caught up in getting married versus what marriage is all about?
Absolutely. And it's, you know, I'm very fortunate to have wonderful couples, and I really haven't run into this too much, but definitely I have experienced it, or even just from being assisting in other weddings, where it's not about the union. It's not about...
It's the show.
It's the show. Yes, exactly. It's the show. I mean, truly. And it's very sad to see that, because there's such a deepness and unity or in marriage. And I feel like sometimes it can be fleeting for people.
Yes.
And, eventually they do find out, the seriousness of their commitment.
Right. And you're in it, and now you got all this money. There was a young lady that came on my radio. Mm-hmm. It came to the radio station with me sometime last year, maybe year before last year. And just amazing. Her name is Nicole Hartnett. Mm-hmm. If you're out there, if you're listening to Nicole, she's amazing. She walked into, and I literally saw myself. She walked into the station, coming on. She walked in. She was dressed so cute. She so looked like what I would have done. She came in and she had on a little cute little dress, and it was a little short. Had her high heels on, hair beat for the garden. And when she walked through that door, I just went, oh my God, I love her. Because so many of us women walk into a place and we feel like, or we come to a place, we feel like we have to stay dressed status quo. Mm-hmm. Or we have to put something on that's going to make everybody else comfortable, or we don't want to stand out. And she and her husband just did their 10-year wedding anniversary. Aww. I mean, it was something out of a storybook. And we attended, my husband and I attended. It was so her personality and his personality. I don't think I've ever been to a wedding that was more beautiful. I've been to a lot of beautiful weddings, but nothing like this. And you can just see the love. But the reason I brought that up is because her personality wasn't something fake. Mm-hmm. When she entered the room, you knew this is exactly who she is. I think that if more women can just be okay with who you are, don't worry about what other people have to say. Just be you. It's infectious. It is. It's infectious.
And even the fact that you remember that wedding with such love and I mean, that's what makes the wedding. It's not the flowers. It's not the glitz and the things. What people leave, if they have experienced true love, true openness, true just people just experiencing life. I mean,
it was just so what I literally didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh yes, it's okay.
Of course, I think my wedding was amazing. There was no one better. But anyway, what I experienced out of that their anniversary renewal, that's what it was. You can just see the love, and you can see not just her personality with the wedding and the reception as a whole. I saw his. And everyone in there, from the DJ to the guests, had so much fun. It was just beautiful, and I just think that I'm going to take this over to the definition of being extra. It doesn't have to be negative. Just be who you are. And extra isn't negative. Extra is something positive.
Absolutely.
Just be you.
I love that so much. It's just going to bring so many blessings to the people that truly accept that part of themselves and just bring the light to the world. You bless yourself, but you also bless others.
Yes, it's infectious. I just think about different people and how I've seen them evolve. Just really having that same conversation. Be okay with who you are.
Yes.
Me sharing with them sharing with me. And I know I have to cut it because they're going to get me. But I'm going to say this, and there's a couple of other ladies that have come in my life that I've watched them evolve when they've really embraced who they are. And they are truly the epitome of what a true extra person is. And that's just beautiful.
I love it. We need to throw an extra ball.
I think we should. And it goes back to Abigail. Abigail is the definition of extra, too.
Oh.
And she really is one that gets me. The day that she walked in this door on day one, I was like, okay, God, thank you. Because she honestly was good in her skin, and she was coming for this job. It didn't matter who was sitting in there. She was coming to take your job. And I love the way she does that. And that's how she handles me, too. She always lets me know, Miss Carter, don't worry, I got this.
Yes.
I got this. And I think that extra is just being okay with you. Yes. So, Abigail, thank you for being okay with you.
You are extra special.
You're extra special, yes.
I got extra special ladies surrounding
See?
me.
Thank you.
Well, is there anything you want to leave? If you had to leave a young lady with something, or several young ladies or men, with how you feel about being extra and what you want out of them, what would you leave them with?
I would tell them that it is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Allow yourself to feel the feelings, to be the person that you were meant to be, because there are so many things in your journey that are coming that when you embrace it as your full and true self, you will be changed for life, and just be the extra person you are, extra loving, extra wonderful, extra funny, extra weird, whatever that extra is to you, be it, embrace it, and the things will come that are meant for you.
I love it. And if they could, can you tell them how to find you if they're planning a wedding?
Sure.
Yes.
Well, I'm hard to miss.
That's okay.
But
if they're planning a wedding or an event, how can they find you?
So I do have Instagram, CATHAUS Designs. That's where they can find me for wedding planning. And my website is cathausrentals.com as well. And I just love the opportunity to be able to get to know couples and to really help them plan their most beautiful and wonderful day that really speaks to who they are as a couple.
And do you service any other area other than the San Antonio?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I'll go anywhere.
So you'll come to Houston if I want to throw a party. Oh, and I call you.
I'll be there tomorrow.
Because I'm extra. I always tell my husband it's 6. He just wanted something to be small. Okay. It's never small.
No, and that's okay.
I love it beautiful.
I will be there tomorrow. You just have to call me. But I've really been so blessed. I actually have a wedding coming up that I'm planning in Marfa. I have a wedding that I'm planning in Cabo.
In who?
In Marfa, Texas.
Oh,
yeah.
I was like, where is Marfa at? I've never heard of that.
It's a cool place. Beyonce just went there. I know I brought her up once already.
That's your girl, huh?
She
you
is.
One of the Beehives?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I put the Brooke, and you can't spell Brooke without B.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Okay. I mean, such a wonderful inspiration in my life, too, because just being from Houston, that was one of the Destiny's Child concert was one of the first ones I ever went to. And when I saw her out there doing her thing and singing and just, oh my gosh, I just got a life.
That's you.
I always loved it. But yeah.
So where is this place at?
So Marfa is in West Texas. It is, have you ever heard of the Marfa Prada store?
No.
Oh gosh. Well, it's an art installation in the middle of the desert. It's not a real Prada store, but it is set up like one. And you just go up there and you just strut your best self and take your photos out there.
Are you serious?
Yes, and it is this small place just in the middle of nowhere, essentially. But they have some of the coolest art and the most creative people out there. And my bride and groom, they just wanted their guests to have a just completely unique experience.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that going up toward like
kind of like
Panhandle?
if you've ever heard closer to El Paso.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's where what was I going to say? Fort Davis is over there in that area. The Marfa Lights.
Yes,
You'll have to look that up.
Oh, God, I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's a very unique place. My bride's family's coming from all over Denmark, and I feel like they're going to be like, what is this place? But they're going to have the best time, and, we're just really going to bring those cool things about Marfa to that event. So it's going to be wonderful.
So if you guys are looking for an event planner, a wedding, or if you just need someone to help you be okay and figure out your extraness, check her out.
Yes, please.
Good people. Thank you so much, Brooke.
Thank you. I just love you. You're just so sweet.
Thank you, Brooke. Let's tell them bye. Until next time, we love you.
Love you.